What are we looking for? Dogs.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Bird. You know we back on Bird's Eye View with it. Like always, appreciate the love and support. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Stop what you're doing, smash the like button, smash subscribe button, hop in the comment section, comment whatever you want. Of course, I'm dropping daily bangers day by day. You know we got news of the day coming out of Colorado, and we're gonna jump right into it, dog. So of course we back with another recap with this Colorado football program. As always, shout out Well Off Media, Reach the People Media for providing us this phenomenal footage each and every day. Of course, it's game week. We had a bye week last week. Now we back rolling. It's game week. Of course, we got the Wildcats of Kansas State coming into Boulder this weekend. Got a Saturday night matchup, man. Going to be prime time, of course, nationally televised like all of our games are. I will be in attendance for that matchup. I'll fly into Denver on Friday, so I'll touch down on the yard in Boulder on Saturday early. So I'll make sure I'll go live for a few hours for you guys. We can, interact, get you guys some good footage. Of course, man, this Colorado offense has taken some steps moving forward. Of course, I dropped a defensive video last week regarding the defense and the steps that we've taken moving forward from last year to this year. So, of course, I wanted to bring you guys an offensive video as well. And we got some really, really good numbers here to look at. But before we get into those, here's a video of the second home run that I hit. I know I was talking to you guys about the home runs that I hit in Myrtle that I was out there last week playing. But here is the second one. Of course, I know you guys, some of you guys wanted to see the second one, so this is that one there. Of course, I will be in Florida. I go to Fort Myers in 2 weeks. They fly me out to Fort Myers. I got to play in a national tournament out there and some MLB spring training field, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, let's get into this offensive numbers here, dog. So according to PFF, our overall offense right now is 37th in the country at 78.5. Now, of course, our passing offense is really, really elite. We all know that. Coming in at 7th best in the country. Now, if you're looking at P4, all the P4 schools, we're actually top 5. But if you factor in all of the FBS schools, we are 7th currently right now in the country when it comes to passing offense, according to PFF, at 90.2. Now, looking at our rushing offense, a place where we struggled at last year. Right now, we're currently ranked 60th in the country at 79.3, which is a huge jump. I'm going to get into the numbers that we had last year. That being top 60 right now in rushing, when according to PFF, is a huge jump from where we were at last year. Of course, when you factor in some of these numbers in the Big 12, right? We have the #1 passing offense in the Big 12 at 90.2. We have a top 10 rushing offense right now in the Big 12 at 79.3, which I said, that's pretty much middle of the pack, which is really, really good. Honestly, when you look at where we were at last year, pretty much one of the worst rushing teams in the country, now being middle of the pack in a Power 4 conference, that is a good step forward. And of course, we're #5 right now when it comes to our receivers in the Big 12 at 74.0. But we know, honestly, when you look at it pound for pound, talent for talent, we got the best wide receiver room in the Big 12. Let's look at a few other numbers here as well. Now, last year, PFF grade, our team overall grade was 73.2. That was 102nd in the country. Right now, currently, our team overall grade, factoring in offense, defense, and special teams, is 36th best in the nation at 90.6. So, of course, that's a huge jump going from 102 to currently ranked 36 right now. This team is head and shoulders better than last year. Again, team overall offense, we're looking at overall offense. Last year, 72.2 was 78 in the country. Now, right now, we're 37th at 78.5. So that's another huge jump, going from being ranked 78 last year to currently being 37 right now. That's 41 spots. That's a really good jump there. Now, when you look at our passing offense, I mean, we threw the football really well last year. So our passing offense last year was 87.5, which was 8th best in the country. Right now, we're 7th best in the nation. So we're still better. We're still improving. Now, when you look at our receiving grade last year, it was actually 80th in the country. And like I said, right now, we're currently 31st right now, according to PFF in the country. Now, when you look at our run grade, this one right here really, really stood out to me because, of course, we were one of the worst rushing teams in the country last year. We were 130, according to PFF, and right now we're at 60. So, of course, like I said, that's a jump of 70 spots, which is really, really good, man. Let's look at some of these Big 12 numbers and how we kind of rank right now in the Big 12, and then I'll get into our team numbers and team average compared to last year to this year. But getting into some of this Big 12, of course, right now we have the second best passing offense in the Big 12. We're averaging 326 yards per game through the air. We have the third most passing touchdowns in the conference with 14. Now, the other two teams, as you can see, has played one more game than we have. Of course, we had the bye week last week. We have the fourth most yards in the conference as far as passing yards with 1,630. Of course, the other 3 teams have also played one more game. We have the #1 highest completion percentage in the conference as a team with 69.3. We have the 2nd least interceptions thrown in the conference. Of course, Shedeur has the 3rd most completions in the conference with 138. The other 2 teams have played more games. Shedeur has the 2nd best yards passing per game. He has the #1 completion percentage in the conference at 70.1. Shedeur has the 2nd best passing efficiency. He also has the 2nd most passing touchdowns with 14. The other 2, of course, have played more games. Now, when we look at Trav has the 3rd best yards per game, receiving yards per game in the conference with 112.2. Of course, T-Mac from Arizona is the leader. Trav is #1 in receptions per game in the conference with 9.2. He also ranks #1 in the conference in catches with 46. He's 2nd in the conference in receiving touchdowns with 6. Of course, the leader has 7. He's 3rd in total yards as well with 561. Now, LaJohntay Wester, who's not on the list, I'm not sure why he's not on this list, but he's 3rd best in the conference with receiving touchdowns with 5. Of course, going back to Shedeur is 2nd in total offense with 331. The leader has 331.2, so it's right there, so close. And of course, our offense in totality is the 2nd most efficient offense in the conference. So, of course, kudos to Coach Shermer, who's made some adjustments without question from week 1 till now. And of course, we're starting to see a little bit more diversity in our offense when it comes to different formations, different sets that we're rolling out here. I mean, it's going to be fun to see exactly how this offense is going to continue to grow throughout the season. We have weapons all over the place from top to bottom. When you look at our running backs, our wide receivers, I mean, we have a multitude of athletes that we can get the ball in their hands and they can make plays. So, of course, it's going to be exciting to see this offense continue to move forward and continue to progress throughout the season. Now, when you look at last year, our numbers last year, right? As a team, right? Let's start in rushing. We had 358 carries, 827 yards was the average of 2.3 yards per carry. We had 12 total rushing touchdowns last year. Our longest rush was for 38 yards. We averaged 68.9 yards per game on the ground. Now, we switch it over through the air. Our passing efficiency was 149.3. We had 323 completions on 474 attempts, 4 interceptions. Our completion percentage was 68.1, threw for 3,536 yards, 29 touchdowns. Our longest was for 75 yards, and we averaged 294.7 yards per game through the air. And then when you look at our receivers, of course, Zay was our leading receiver, had 68 catches for 908 yards, 4 touchdowns. He averaged 82.5 yards per game. Jimmy led our team with 6 touchdowns. As far as our wide receiver unit, 323 catches, 3,536 yards, 29 touchdowns. We had 3 guys over 500 yards receiving. Of course, Travis Hunter had 57 catches, 721 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, when we look at our numbers this year, compared to those numbers last year, we're not even halfway through the season, and we're going to wipe some of those numbers out completely. Let's look at and let's start with our ground game. Right now, currently on the ground, right, we have 135 carries for 403 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, going back and looking at our numbers last year, 827 yards on the ground. We're almost halfway to our rushing total, and we're not even halfway through the season. We're averaging 3 yards a pop, which is higher than the 2.3. We have 5 total touchdowns on the ground right now. Last year combined, all we had was 12. So we're almost halfway to that number already, not even halfway through the season. Of course, we're averaging 80.6 yards on the ground this season. That's higher than that 68.9. So, of course, we have a lot better ground attack this year. The eye test, I'll tell you that without question. And that's kudos to our running backs that we were able to bring in. Of course, Michael Welch. You got Isaiah Gustav, Dylan Hayden. I mean, 3 new faces that have come in and have done a great job, along with the offensive line, have done a great job with controlling our ground game and getting better in the run game. When you look at, switch it over to the passing side of things, right? We look at Shedeur Sanders, of course. Last year, 151.7 passing efficiency. This year, of course, he's at 160.0. Right now, currently, he has 138 completions, 197 attempts. Now, obviously, he's thrown 3 interceptions this year to match his total last year. But in my opinion, he's going to throw for more yards this year without question. Currently, right now, he's at 1630. Last season, he was at 3230. So he's just about halfway. He's halfway to his mark already in less games. We're not even halfway through the season. So we're expecting him to have a phenomenal year. He's going to throw for over 3,500. He's going to be closer to 4,000 yards for sure, without question. He had 27 touchdowns last year. He's over halfway to that now. He's at 14, so we can expect 30 touchdowns out of this young man for sure. Right now, he's averaging way more yards per game. 326 yards per game. Last year was 293.6. So we've seen a jump in his production, in Shedeur Sanders' production, without question. Not surprised at all. He's a pro, and he's going to continue to get better and better and better. When you look at our wide receivers, like I said, Zay led our team last year with 68 catches. Trav already has 46 right now. Trav is going to likely have 80, 90, closer to 100 catches. He's going to get close to that number for sure. Last year, like I said, Trav only had 57 catches. I know he only played 9 games, but he's almost to that mark already. When you look at yardage, he has 561 yards. Zay had 908 in 12 games. Trav almost has 600 yards right now receiving in only 5 games. So we can expect Trav to have over 1,000 yards for sure. So our leading receiver is going to have more catches and more yards. Trav already has more touchdowns right now than Zay. Zay had 4. Trav has 6. I know Jimmy led our offense last year in touchdowns with 6. That was over 12 games. So we already have Trav already at that 6 mark right now. So we're going to have more receiving touchdowns. Our leader's going to have more receiving touchdowns. LeJohntay has 5 right now. So he's almost at that number as well too. We can expect LeJohntay may hit 10 touchdowns this year. So it's gonna be fun seeing those guys compete there. Of course, you're looking at our total receiving yards last year at 3,536. And like I said, right now we're at 1,630. So we can expect to break that number as well too. Expecting us to play more games also. So it's gonna be fun to see our wide receivers continue to grow, continue to gel. I know last year we had 3 guys that had over 500 yards receiving. This year we're looking at, Will Shepard has 247. LeJohntay has 260. Jimmy has 327. Again, Trav has 561. So I think we get 4 this year for sure, because I think Will Shepard, LeJohntay are going to both have over 500 yards. Trav already has over 500. Jimmy Horn has 327, so he's another good game away from being 500 yards just for 1 game. So, I mean, these numbers here are going to improve without question from top to bottom. Our offense is better. Our whole team is better without question. But from top to bottom, man, when you look at our offensive side of the football, we are continuing to gel. We're continuing to get better. And it's going to be fun watching this offense continue to grow and gel. Because, I mean, week by week, we're going to get better and better and better. And as long as our offensive line continues to protect Shedeur Sanders, we stay healthy. I mean, it's going to be fun, especially with our ground attack picking it up now. Because teams are going to start to have to respect our running backs now. At first, coming into the year, everybody was saying, they're just going to throw it. They're going to throw it. They're going to throw it. But now we're starting to establish momentum on the ground. And that's going to do nothing but help our passing game. And when you got teams now having to focus, because they already worry about let's think about it. We got the best quarterback in the country. We got a top 5 receiving core in the country. We got the best player in the country in Travis Hunter. Right? We may roll out the best 4 guys in the nation when it comes to Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, LeJohntay Wester, and Will Shepard. That's one of the best 4 that you could roll out there in the nation, and you got the best quarterback in the country spinning him the football. So as long as we protect up front, you got to minimize those guys. You already got to minimize those guys already. So when you factor in now, teams have to respect our run game. You got to figure out how the hell you're going to get Michael Welch on the ground. Isaiah Gustave is toting the football. You got to figure out how you're going to tackle him. Dylan Hayden is toting the rock as well. It's doing nothing but opening up our offense. And it's going to be fun, dog, to see teams try to slow this attack down now that you got a rushing game. And, of course, we already had the game through the air as well. So we're going to see what happens with that K-State matchup. Of course, that is going to be the best team that we played all season. They do some things really well. I'm going to get into, of course, I'm going to bring the keys to victory video for you guys on Friday like I always do, week by week. So I'm not going to get into too much of a detail of what I feel like, what they do really well, what we need to do to stop what they do, this, that, and the third. But, I mean, it's going to be a really, really good matchup. Like I said, I will be in attendance, so I'm looking forward to that. If you see me, come holler at me, come chop it up, dog. I'm going to be on live. I'm going to be on live throughout the entire time as soon as I get there. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. Of course, it's the return of Dylan Edwards, so that's going to be fun. I'm pretty sure he's amped up. I know he's had this game circled on his calendar for sure. Just being an athlete, you love playing against your former team. So we'll see how it all plays out. Of course, we got to limit the explosive plays with Dylan Edwards in the return game for sure, and that running back as well. But I'm not going to keep you long. Just want to bring you guys another phenomenal update. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. You know what time it is, dog. Bird's eye view, man.